Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Musical People and Journeys rock show. What is this episode all about? Well, let me quickly explain. Every month we do a what we call a kind of festival rock show where me and my friends, we basically review around about 12 rock albums per month, and we rate them out of 5. And you know, just for fun and just for you guys to see what the latest and the greatest in the rock album world is. However, so it's an hour-long show. So what these shows are, what this one-off show is, to take a single album review for you to listen to, which will be about maybe 10 minutes, and for you to kind of, so if you just want to hear, you know, the latest Ghost album rather than listen to the whole show, then you can have a sample of what we're all about, and hopefully, if you enjoy, you can come back and watch the whole show from start to beginning with all the albums kind of reviewed as well. So I hope you enjoy it. Please like and subscribe our show, and to spread the message about what we do. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this single album review and the actual show itself. Thank you very much. Because next on stage, people, whoa, we're ramping it up here. Alexisonfire and their album Otherness. Who are these guys? Well, formed in 2001, it's split in 2011 and reformed in 2015. The band describes their music as the sound of two Catholic high school girls in a mid-knife fight. I love that. I just love that. Love that. The sound of two Catholic high school girls in a mid-knife fight. Fifth album, first since 2009. The lead vocals is a guy called George Petit, but his voice is not small, that's for sure. Let's crack on then. I am certainly going to come to the guy who said 4 months ago, this album has to be on this podcast, and demanded that it's on there. Nate, is it everything you had hoped it to be? Is this a band that you know and love, and you really wanted to review this album? Talk to me, Nate.
I love Alexisonfire. I from way back. I loved Crisis. It was just the right kind of blending of sort of punk and hardcore, but also a bit more technical. And the things that I didn't like about the hardcore scene was usually lack of vocal diversity, where Alexis really relies on a blending of the sort of screamo-esque, it's much less screamo now, but screamo-esque vocals. And Dallas Green, who is one of the guitarists, his vocal ability for the actual melody and harmonies and stuff like that. In fact, I believe they all sing, because the other guitarist is the lead singer at Gallows now. Like there's a large amount of vocal talent and an array of vocal talent there. This album is entirely different to anything else because it's much less punk, it's much less hardcore, and much more rock. I mean, Sweet Dreams of Otherness, that intro's almost Biffy Clyro, like Sun Soleil, which is going to be a tattoo I get. It inspired an idea for a tattoo. The lyrics are very poignant to me at the moment, but that is just that. I mean, that's the city. So Dallas Green is also City in Colour, who you may or may not have heard of, but it's his solo project, and it's folky and rocky and not as heavy by any stretch of imagination. It just started out with him and an acoustic guitar. Sun Soleil is Alexisonfire doing City in Colour, in my opinion. It's absolutely beautiful and shows a real maturity the way they've been able to blend genres together. And it really did fill a hole left in me, a brand new shaped hole this album sort of filled. because I miss being able to listen to my favorite band of all time, which is brand new, and I have been looking for things to try and fill that, and this Otherness really did do a hell of an effort and a total change. They're going to have pissed off a lot of their fans, man, because I think a lot of people were expecting this sort of, but they're 15 years older and their fathers and their perspectives have changed, and it was a really beautiful record. I loved it.
Will, Alexisonfire, I like to call them Alexisonfire. Did this resonate with you, my friend? Is this something that had you heard of them before? Is this something you come across?
Yeah, I'd heard of them before, but I'd never really sort of dipped my toes in and properly listened to them and tried them out. I'd heard of them and the kind of music they did. And so, like Nathan said, with the whole that sound, when I saw they were going to be up, that's what I was sort of expecting it to be, and it was different to what I thought I was going to hear. But as an album, I felt I quite liked it. I obviously am a big fan of screamo and screamy vocals, and especially when it's used alongside clean vocals as well, because the way they play off each other, having it enhances the sound of both. So when you have pure screamo, it's just that's what you get, and pure clean, that's what you get. But when they're next to each other, one after another at the same time, it really enhances the sound of both the vocalists, so you can really see how good they actually are. It was just really good. I like it. Very good. Nice, solid, good music.
Cool.
Yeah.
Simon, how about you, my friend? Has this finally lit up your? Well, I mean, Sinner did, but what about these guys? Is it something that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved this band. This Could Be Anywhere in the World is one of my all-time favorite tracks. Accidents as well. Just some absolutely cracking songs, and I very much from my era of being into music. I think a lot of sort of the sentiment that Nate came out with, I agree. But for me personally, Reverse the Curse was my favorite track on the album.
Sure.
Absolutely adore Reverse the Curse. Such a heavy sound, and I think the sound of this album compared to some of the previous ones, I think it's a bit heavier, a bit less emo. As I said, there's a bit more consideration in the songs and the lyrics. Survivor's Guilt as well, very much like that song. Yeah, I adored this album, really enjoyed it. I mean, I have a preference for the heavier stuff anyway, but I think the change that the band has gone through over the years, I think it's good. I think the way they've adapted and as I think as Nathan said, as the way they've grown up over time is really reflected in this, and I really like it. There's been some bands that have sort of revived post lockdown that their style has changed so much that they're unrecognizable, but I think they've done a really good job here. Really enjoyed this album, very much so.
So far, it's been expected. I mean, these sort of comments, I would expect it based on that one. So I'm going to be intrigued, which is why I've left him to last year, because was this would not? I would suggest that I would say that this would be not your typical style, Ian. So what did you think of it?
You're absolutely right, and certainly from hearing Nate and Simon describe what Alexisonfire have been like in previous incantations and albums, it certainly doesn't sound like my type of music, but because it's Nate and Simon, I'm now intrigued to go back and listen, because I know I'm probably not going to like the genre, but I want to go back and have a little listen. I thought this album was really clever. I described them having screamo vocals and clear vocals. Well, you're right, it's clean, absolutely clean vocals, and I put down here, it's almost got a schizophrenic quality to it, this album, in terms of it starts with this oxymoron of screamo and clean. How can you have the two together? But this is the great an example of people that know music, know what work together. It's got fantastic production, awesome music, and that oxymoron turns into a juxtaposition, which is really well blended, exactly like Will said. When you have them side by side in a good arrangement, it just elevates the quality of the album. So I like that schizophrenic quality. I love the tunes that they're producing, even the screamo stuff. I didn't want to turn it off just because it was screamo. The production, the guitar work on it is fantastic in places, and it's definitely something I want to explore more. Even though I know I'm probably not going to like the genre. Was it my favourite album this week? No, it wasn't. But I'm definitely keen to find out a bit more and enjoyed listening to it.
Well, cool.
Here we go.
Well, I hated it. But then, I loved it. And then, I hated it. And then, I loved it. No album in the 100 reviews that we've done have I gone in such a pendulum swing of an album before, because as you know, if screamo is like out and out screamo and all you hear screamo is a 10, and then it kind of comes down between the clean and the screamo, and I think I have a tolerance level of 3, maybe 4 to push, and this at times was a 5, and it was But I think one of the things that resonated with me from an album review that we did, or discussion that we did a while back, was Nate. One of Nate was so passionate about the musicality behind the screamo, and I thought, well, yeah, maybe I should try somehow to raise our tolerance level to absorb some of that. And Sans Soleil was probably going to be in my top 10 songs of the year, without any doubt, because it was so. And I love the fact that when these heavy guys then actually do clean sing, for me it is beautiful. I mean, I think some of these people have the most amazing talented voices, whatever, and almost makes me go, wish please don't do the screamo. So I've kind of it has swung in a pendulum, but I think the musicality behind this and some of the lyricism behind this is also phenomenally good. But you know, in terms of the enjoying the album, for me, it just on occasions was too over that screamo level for me, and I couldn't quite get through it. So some of the tracks on the album I would skip. But the fact I listened to it 4 or 5 times, and the fact that it did get
Wow.
and the fact that some of the tracks on there were incredibly good and really did hit my sweet spot. I really did. That pendulum kept swinging for me. But there's no doubt about it. They are super talented, and I think if they can, and I agree with Will. I love when screamo accentuates the clean rather than. So I think what it is like. There's sometimes you have them both in parody. I prefer it to be more sort of towards the clean, and with the screamo accentuating the clean more. I liken things like Bad Wolves, for example, who I think who hit that spot just well. But overall, I enjoyed the album. I thought they were really good. So
On that screamo singing thing, I really think this album they learned to set aside a bit of ego. I think previously in Alexis stuff, it's been like, I'm the front man. No, I'm the front man, like kind of deal. Whereas the band let everybody in the band have their moment in this album, and it made for a much easier. I think they'll make a lot more fans out of this album than they will have previously.
It was probably more commercial, wasn't it? That I kind of get that. It was more commercial screamo, but it would be interesting for you to.
I also think he's blown his voice.
Oh, really? Possibly.
You can only scream like that. I mean, they've been on the Canadian punk scene for so many years before they made it big. You can only do that for so long. It's a very different scream to how it is on. You know, if you go and listen to This Could Be Anywhere in the World, it's like that is metal screaming compared to this. Very different.
I really like the song Sans Soleil as well, and I thought what I really worked about that was you get the opening 2 screamo heavier tracks, and then suddenly Sans Soleil comes along and just blows your expectation of what the rest of the album's going to be about.
They certainly kept
do we
good
like
in
that because of the contrast, or the song itself?
Whoever said schizophrenic, that's the perfect. Yeah, I love that.
Split personality or schizophrenic, whichever.
Right, Ian knows schizophrenic very well, so it's not a surprise.
No, I don't.
Who's that behind you, by the way? Yeah. Right, okay, let's get our ratings. Nate?
4.5.
Whoa! God, that could be your highest ever rating, mate. Wow. Okay, let's crack on. Will?
4. Yeah, 4. Why not?
4. Okay, Simon?
I feel like 5.
Yay! Fantastic. Ian?
That was for Simon.
That was for Simon. Thanks, Cracky.
Unfortunately, it's not a 5 from me. I really liked it, but it's a definite solid 3 because I just appreciate the production of it, but there was too much in there that wasn't my thing. But I definitely appreciate it. So it's 50-50 with an extra half point for production.
3.5 from me, guys.
Hey,
3.5 for me. I think this is hit Hall of Fame style. 4.5.
I never would have thought that, Nige.
Oh,
I'm so pleased.
Well, no, mate. It was solid. 8.5, 13.5, 16.5, 17. Only just 20. It's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. That's terrific.
He's done it!
Yeah,
I've done it!
We've got that in the Hall of Fame. So, yeah, no, it was, I deserved it. It was a really good album. So, just to check that, those numbers 9, 13.5, 6.5. Yeah, 20 points. It's in our Hall of Fame. It's I think it might just have squeezed out the top 10 because I think 4.1. Is it going to get? It's the first one that's actually scored spot on 4. There we go. So it's our first. It's our first spot on 4 album. But congratulations, Alexisonfire. You have reached the MPJ Hall of Fame, and right, so cracking album. Right, okay. Who is going to be our headline act? How can they follow a Hall of Fame act? The greatest actor that has ever put a pirate uniform on? Who knows? Let's find out, because next on stage we got